This is my 53rd year teaching here. I was hired in 1968 when James Work was still president of the college. At that time, it was a college. It wasn't a university. I had gotten my master's from Columbia. I had finished all my coursework in solid state physics at Rutgers and decided I did not want to spend 4 years of my life doing my PhD, and applied to the Philadelphia area because I had fallen in love with it when I went to Temple University as an undergraduate. And I got 2 job offers in this area, and I tell my students this all the time because they laugh at me. One was from Bell Laboratories. And as a solid state physicist, desperate need for research people. And I had published while I was at Columbia before I had my master's. I had published in field ion microscopy. And from DelVal. And I wanted to teach. And Bell Lab offered me twice the money. And I wanted to teach. And I fell in love with the campus. I fell in love with the background, the history of the campus. I fell in love with the dedication to teaching, which most universities don't stress. They stress research. And I was told from the beginning that what's important is teaching. And I love to teach. When I came, just to give you an example, this library that we're in right now only existed in this piece. Both wings didn't exist. So it was just the center section of the library. Mandel was not a U shape, it was an L shape. The gymnasium was half the size of what it is now. Student Center didn't exist. Life Sciences building didn't exist. A number of the dormitories didn't exist. So a lot of that didn't necessarily occur during James Work's tenure, but he drove it. And this is my own viewpoint as a faculty member, one of the important views I have of James Work is that fact that there's a man that was totally dedicated to the success of this as an institution. He was driven to that. He was driven to improve the facilities, to improve the programs, to move DelVal up the ladder, shall we say, as an entity. And when people ask me, I use the term benevolent dictator because in essence, that's what he was. He wanted things his way. He was president, and he was also a big financial supporter of the college at that point. He got things his way, but his way was always what he thought was best. And it's not that he used his own ideas. He tapped into what the faculty had to say. He talked to the students very often. So he put together what he felt was saw as the best direction for the college with all this advice from all the different quarters. And then drove ahead relentlessly to accomplish it and was very successful in that way. Dr. Feldstein was driven toward the students more than the institution. Dr. Feldstein's drive was to improve things for the students directly. And a lot of what he accomplished was aimed in that direction. So you've got 2 different viewpoints, one driven to the institution, one driven to the students, because by the time Dr. Feldstein got around, the institution has pretty well set its roots strongly due to Dr.Work. I teach because of the feedback I get from the students. The students don't realize it. They don't realize that when they leave and then send me back a message saying how well they're doing and how much they appreciated what I did for them when they were here, it makes my world blossom. It's like walking into a garden where all the flowers are in bloom and they're all looking at you. That's what makes it worthwhile. And if you talk to the faculty, any of the faculty here, I'll bet they say exactly the same thing.